Welcome one more time inside the Grillin with RVH patio, where today we're going to walk you through the new Masterbuilt 1050 gravity fed smoker. So Masterbuilt, the end of 2019, came out with their 560 gravity fed smoker, and it was a huge hit. But there was a couple of things, several things that hardcore barbecue and grill enthusiasts didn't like about it. So they went back to the drawing board, designed the 1050, which incorporated a lot of changes. Plus, it's a little bit bigger. The 560, wait for this, this will blow your mind, it has 560 square inches of grilling area, hence the 560. The 1050 has, wait for it, 1,050 square inches of grilling area. So hence the 560 and 1050 names. Yeah, I'm dumb. I know, I get it, but I crack me up, and that's really, at the end of the day, it's all that matters. Do I laugh at me? Yes. Okay, good. So, but I want to walk you through just a little bit of what this Masterbuilt 1060, or there I go, this Masterbuilt 1050 can do, how it's set up, and how it works. I've only done, now, here's a caveat, long-term, longevity, I don't know how it's going to be. Just bought this thing Monday. This video is being shot on Wednesday. I don't know how long it's going to last, but a lot of guys online, a lot of folks online who own the 1050 and own the 560 that have had it for a lot longer time. Hey, there's a squirrel over there watching us. Oh well, see, ADHD. Hey, look at that squirrel. Anyway, but the 1050 longevity-wise, not sure how it's going to hold up. We'll see. It seems to be built really well for the price point that it's at. It's not forged welded steel like my Old Country Barbecue Pit's vertical smokehouse smoker, but it is one of the most inexpensive gravity-fed smokers that also has an electronic control on it, and it will run, they say, Masterbuilt says, from 150 to 700. I can confirm the 700. The 150, I haven't ran it that low yet. I've ran it between 250 and 700 when doing the seasoning and the burn-in. When I put it together, got it finally put together yesterday. Bought it Monday. It took me 2 days. I don't do a full assembly videos. There's plenty of those out there on YouTube. You can search for Masterbuilt 1050 assembly, Masterbuilt 560 assembly. They're essentially, they go together the same, just a couple of small changes like the shelf and how the handle's mounted. And obviously it's a little bit bigger, but you can find those out there. Going back to what I was saying, temp-wise, I will say it gets to 250. Oh, Lord, I don't remember. It was probably like 3 minutes. It was at 250 from ignition to when I actually closed the doors and fired up the controller, the fan itself. It was at 250 within about 3 to 4 minutes. When I cranked it to 480, 500, it got to 480, 500 in probably a total of 6 or 7 minutes. So it's fast to temp, very fast. What are some of the other things? It has 3 racks, and I'll give you a full tour here in just a minute with the other phone on the gimbal, the other camera on the gimbal. But it has 3 cooking surfaces. I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to take you a tour in just a minute, but just before I do that, make sure you subscribe down at the bottom. Hit that little subscribe button, ring that bell. Get notifications when we post videos. I have a couple of more videos coming out that were cooked on the RecTec and on the Blackstone. So if you're interested in RecTec pellet smokers, Blackstone griddles, I do have some more videos coming out for those. But pretty much going forward, I'll probably be cooking mostly on this Masterbuilt gravity fed smoker. So pricing. And where I bought it from, because right now these are like almost like gold. It's hard to find them right now. Masterbuilt's ramping up production, but still there's very few places. In fact, there's only one that I know of that I found it at. Outdoor grill store in Weatherford, Texas, just a few miles outside of Fort Worth. I don't know, 50 miles, 40 miles, I don't know. I'm in San Angelo. I'm outside the Metroplex, far outside. But outdoor grill stores, they still have them in stock as of this date, May 6th, 2020. but they will help you immensely with what you need. I walked in there knowing what I wanted, knowing what I was going to buy, and they still made some suggestions, that made sense, and I picked them up like they suggested. I have not regretted it. So Outdoor Grill Store, that's just my plug for them. They're in Weatherford, Texas. Google them. They're on Facebook. They also have a website. Check them out. They've got some really good seasonings there as well, lump charcoal. Check them out. Support those guys. They need your help, especially in this time of economic crisis that we're going through. So with all that being said, the price point I paid was, I believe it's $7.99, so basically $800. I bought a cover for it, which haven't used yet, and then some rubs that it's hard to find in the stores. I don't necessarily always like to order online. And then I bought some lump charcoal as well, trying out some Jealous Devil lump charcoal. I heard that was good stuff, so I'm going to go with that on my next long cook. But anyway, let me get the other camera, and let's take a tour of the grill, and I'll show you some things about it. All right? Be right back. And now let's do a little walk around. You can see the front cover. One of the things they did do with the 1050 is they added a front shelf. Very easy to use. You just simply pull out, and it drops down. Okay, maybe it's not so easy, but it's real simple to use that. Lift it back up. A lot of people don't see the need for that. I kind of like it because I can rest a pan on it when I'm fiddling with a brisket or something like that. You have your thermometer. I heard one guy online referred to it as the Fisher-Price indicator. I found it funny. You may not, but yeah. So the first thing you'll notice is the lid on the 1050 is a little bit different than the 560, which I have not owned. But I saw them side by side when I bought the 1050 there in Weatherford, and I will tell you that this lid and this smoker, I think, are a better design than the 560. The same concept, but they've made little changes here and there that, to me, seem to be working for them. So, as I mentioned, you got your 3 racks. Get you down here where you can see this. These are neat. You got your sear side, and if you flip it over, you got your smoke side. Let me flip one of these bad boys over here. It's hard to hold the gimbal and do this at the same time. So you see the smoke side, little smoke upside down there with your Masterbuilt logo. So yeah, that'll work. I noticed a lot of guys, and if you go online to YouTube and Google this, you'll see a lot of guys and girls already smoking with this. But a lot of guys, when they do one item or 2 items, they'll put their, like brisket, for example, they'll put their briskets here and then put a drip pan here, just so the drippings don't get on the manifold. There's a fan underneath that blows the hot air in there, and it comes out through this manifold. The heat comes through the manifold and comes up. Obviously, it's science. Don't ask me how. I'm not a chemistry major, but the heat comes up. It seems to be well regulated. I've heard some folks have done temp tests with a fireboard controller, which I also have, or fireboard temp reading, and they said it's off a little bit. But I've never found a smoker yet that isn't off a little bit. If you cook to temp, internal temp, it won't be that big a deal. If you cook to time, you might want to get a third-party indicator, which I'll cover some of that in a later video probably. And then you have your electronic control panel right here. And not to belabor the point too much, I will say this: the electronic temp control, the app, is buggy at best. So that's why I'm going to use my fireboard to maintain the temp. I'll use this to control the temp, but the fireboard I'll use when I'm remotely checking it out. Theoretically, the app allows you to control the smoker after its ignition is obtained and you get the charcoal going. It allows you to increase, decrease the temp, etc. Again, I tried it once, a little buggy. I'm going to mess with it some, and we'll see what happens. But right now, I don't even worry about the app. But this is where you control everything. One thing I do like is this particular, stupid gimbal going crazy on me, has a sealed hole grommet there that you can feed your temp probes into your cook chamber. You can do your ambient temp probe if you want to do a independent one from the Masterbuilt. You can feed that through there, and your meat probes. The control panel does have 4 inputs for meat probes that tie into this control panel. Masterbuilt sends you one. You can order extras. I just prefer to use my existing fireboard. Then on this side of the smoker, gimbal going crazy on me. On this side of the smoker, have 3 hooks where you can hang grilling implements. Don't need to cover that. That's pretty explanatory. Okay, I'm back. All right. But here, nice touch that does not exist on the 560. A little swing panel here where you can store the power supply or temp probes or whatever. That's the Masterbuilt temp probe that I haven't even used yet, so I'll break that out sooner or later. Up here is your vent strip. This is basically the same as a smokestack, vent stack on other smokers and grills. For example, on my RecTec, you can see right there, that's the vent stack, and this is basically takes the place of that here on the Masterbuilt. It overlaps, so there's no water gets inside there. Mine's under a cover, but if yours is not, well, that's good for you. That'll be good for you. This is your drip pan, or your tray that goes underneath the manifold and the cooking racks. There is, if you look down here, there is a drip pan that you can remove separately and clean that out. I will probably be foiling those later, just so it's easier to keep clean. And then you got the bottom shelf. I'm not sure if people store their charcoal on that or not. You could Google it and see. And like I said, this is going to be real quick. I don't intend to make this a comprehensive review, but because you can find all that. There's guys that have more time than I do to do all that. That brings us over here to the chute, the charcoal chute. Basically, another thing that they did on the 1050 was they redesigned the hood, or the lid, to the charcoal chute. On the 560, it folds up that way over the chamber. Let me get you to see my hand. Over the cook chamber. On the 1050, it folds back. One thing I will say about mods, a lot of guys like to mod this smoker. No problem with that whatsoever. I would do it myself. But if you don't mod your smoker, I suggest one thing. Get a piece of heavy-duty tinfoil, fold it over like that, and put it between the lid of the hopper and the hopper itself. Hopper. Here's my Boston accent for the day. Reason is, it helps seal this. Best way to put it. It helps keep your airflow right. And it helps seal this good when you shut down. So that's what I would do. But I have some old lump charcoal in there right now that I was using in my stick burner and my charcoal grill at one point. So I'm just using that up and then going to the good stuff. You can run briquettes, lump charcoal, or wood chunks in here. A lot of guys, and you can again find this online, they'll mix their lump charcoal or their briquettes with wood chunks, and they'll layer that in there, layer of briquettes or lump, layer a couple of chunks of wood, more chunks and briquette, or more lump and briquettes, and then some more chunks of wood, etc. So you can do that however you want to. And then here's where the magic happens. This is the firebox, and this is where you put your igniter, whether it be a fire starter, you can do a simple paper towel soaked with cooking oil. Stuff it in there, fire it up, light on fire, and it'll catch the bottom layer of charcoal and start with it. There's startup procedures. I may link a video in the comments to how you do that. But this is your ash bucket. This is the one thing I'm still working on. Let me get you down there where you can see this bad boy. So that's after burn in and one cook. A lot of that old lump I had, as it burned down, it fell through into the ash basket, excuse me. So I'm looking at getting a strainer to strain the ashes and dump the good pieces back on top and keep it going. So, but we'll see how that goes. So that's that. One thing, if you decide to buy this smoker, one thing you'll have to remember to do, and everybody does it, these two things right here. These are the slides that you pull out after you ignite your charcoal and you get ready to turn on your controller. You have to pull these out. These are what block airflow into the chamber to keep the charcoal burning. So if you leave those in there, you can light down here in the firebox all day long, and you're going to get zero airflow, and you'll never come up to temp. Everybody does it. If you go to the Masterbuilt Gravity Smoker fan page on Facebook, almost every single person has done it at least once, some many more. So anyway, highly recommend that group, as well as Gravity Fans Unite. If you search for them on Facebook, and you can join them, and they have a lot of good information on both of those Facebook groups. Now, I encourage you to use the search function on those groups before you ask a question, because there are a few folks, grumpy folks who've been locked in too long, who don't like it when you don't use the search function. I like to answer questions all day long. I love to talk barbecue, so I'll answer, but some of them will kind of get a little antsy. So that's the quick walk around of the Masterbuilt. Come back and recap it real quick, as well as my thoughts of admittedly only 2 days of ownership. We'll be back right after this. All right, so as you can tell, please understand this is not an exhaustive walk around of this smoker slash grill. That's just hitting some high points. I know I probably forgot something, so if you have a question, you can post it either if you're watching this on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube. Please post a question and I'll answer it, or I will point you in the right direction to get the right answer. Again, if you go to YouTube, you can Google the Masterbuilt 1050, Masterbuilt Gravity Fed Series, Masterbuilt 560, whichever one you want to. You can Google, and there's a whole ton of, and a whole host of videos out there that can help you with the in-depth stuff. I just tried to hit some high points. Bottom line, what do I think about this 1050? So I did a lot of research for the last couple of months, looking up different smokers, looking at the Masterbuilt series. I saw the 560 when it came out about 5-6 months ago, and I thought it was a unique concept, might be a good thing. I didn't know if I really wanted to jump on the bandwagon. I had I had 3 other dedicated smokers and 1 old propane and charcoal gas grill. Well, then I went and bought a Blackstone griddle, and my wife said, "Are you still going to buy that Masterbuilt thing you wanted?" And I said, "Yeah." I went ahead and broke down and spent the $800. Well, actually more than that after all the add-ons I got for it. But I think I made a good choice. So again, I've done 1 cook on it. I've done the burn off, the seasoning, and then 1 cook. And I will tell you this, when I did those burgers last night, this thing was up to temp. From start to finish, it took me maybe 25 minutes. And that includes dumping more charcoal in the hopper, getting the charcoal ignited, and then frying the burgers, taking them inside, and shutting everything down. So 20-25 minutes, and those things were done. So yeah, I'm a fan. Long-term longevity, not sure yet how that's going to be. It's built decently. If you get a cover, even underneath this patio I have, I'm going to be covering it up, period, dot. There is no question. I'll be putting the cover on it most of the time. But right now, I like it. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you're a hardcore smoker, hardcore barbecue guy like me, if you've been locked in for the last couple of months and you don't have a lot to do but make barbecue videos that most people probably will just skim through, I would highly recommend something like this. The 3 racks, the cast iron on the bottom, the ability to go from between 150 for jerky and 700 to sear high heat things. There is no other one like it at this price point. The ability to use lump charcoal and wood chunks, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So you'll be seeing more cooks at Grillin with RVH with this piece of equipment. But yes, bottom line is I would recommend this. It holds temp well. It gives a nice smoke / charcoal flavor without that ashy taste when you over smoke something. It gives, in other words, it gives the benefits of a stick burner flavoring with the ease and convenience of a pellet grill in holding temps. So yes, you can go to bed overnight, leave your brisket on, leave your pork shoulder on, and have no worries about having to get up and feed more wood to it. Just make sure your hopper's full when you go to bed, and you've got 8-9 hours probably if you're going low and slow of cook time. So that'll do it. I'll put a montage, like I said, of assembly up, and I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you did like this video, please hit the subscribe button. ring that bell to get notifications, like this particular video, share it if you feel led to, and we appreciate you watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Grillin with RVH.